American football in Finland.
So Maple League teams back in action on Thursday with the Royals versus the Roosters, but it'll be in Helsinki this time. And then Friday we got the Crusaders versus the Steelers. And then on Sunday will be the game of the week where we have the Butchers versus the Crocodiles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's spend a little bit of time talking about the matchups. First game, Roosters 2-4 versus Royals 3-4. Now, just going into this game, both of these teams, they just played each other. And the Roosters won, dominantly, I guess, or convincingly is what I would say. What are your thoughts on this one? What's an interesting storyline or question in this game?
Storyline would be what will Royals do to try to get their running game going against the Roosters, and what they're going to do to combat Kittner this game. Because you can pretty much guarantee they're going back to him. So if you're planning on manning up with number 20, you need to come up with another plan. Maybe Alpha need to play defense or something.
I think Rufa is hurt. I think Rufa Khalifa has an injury, but I think he might be back. Not 100% sure. I don't know the details of his injury, but I know they hope he comes back, right?
They got to do something because at least Rufa can be aggressive with him on the line. Even if he can't run with him, he can be aggressive with him on the line, so he won't have as many easy get-offs as he was having. My thing is, this is another thing, but Royals do not play bump and run on him, for one. If you know your DB is a bigger DB, stronger, not necessarily the fastest, don't play bump and run. Like, let him play off. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's a whole other game. But I think that the storyline, obviously, can the Royals combat with? Can they help with Kittner? Can they do anything to adjust to what Kittner can do to them? And also, what do they have to do to get Swarsty in the running game going? As far as the Roosters now have to make that run, that playoff run. So they have to win this game again. They can't take this L. So Roosters, what are you going to do on your defensive side of the ball to make sure that the Royals don't have a chance? But we'll see.
Yeah. Key matchup in this one. I want to say, I don't know. I feel like all the matchups are gonna be key. I still want to say it's Alpha versus whoever the Roosters put on them if they go actually Olin or not again. Because if Alpha isn't able to like produce touchdowns and points and score for the Royals, they don't score. Like they're not gonna score enough points. Like I don't I don't think there's a lot they can do defensively to slow down the Roosters, or at least stop them. They might be able to slow them down a little bit more, but it doesn't matter if they can't put up points and force that Roosters offense to feel the pressure to score. If the Roosters offense feels good about it, they'll be fine. But again, it all comes down to how well Alpha does. If you can keep him to under 100 yards and no touchdowns again, Roosters are easily going to win this game. And I guess an interesting aspect of this would be, playing in the Velo and Vasa traveling. That's actually pretty interesting because it's a Thursday night game, which means if you got a job, it's gonna be tough. You want to make that 5-hour trip or 4-hour trip from Vasa to Helsinki and then go back. You don't get home until game is over like 9, 10. So you don't get home until 1 or 2. 1 o'clock at the earliest, and wherever you gotta go, you gotta go. And you gotta think about it. Like, you want to be paying for that? That's gonna cost you some time and some money. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it for that game. I don't have a lot. They just played. Kind of gotta hope that it's not the exact same thing, but it could go either way. The next game would be the Crusaders at 3-4 versus the Steelers at 4-3. What do you got for this one?
Ooh,
have they played already? Yeah.
Okay. Have early in the season.
Last time these two teams played was week 4, and the Steelers won 13-7. And
it was a close one.
Yeah, and that's a team that do you think the Crusaders are better now than they were in week 4?
I think the Crusaders are better now. Offensively, they can actually keep drives going. I think in this game, this is Lee Anthony's return. which is we already know he's going to be debuted. I don't think they're gonna. Oh, we're just gonna give him 16 plays. I think he's gonna go like turn up pretty much. So that'll be interesting to see how UNC prepares for that. But also, it'll be interesting to see how Corpio prepares for the UNC passing game because I know Robert might just come out and say, "Hey, we gonna do this or we gonna do that. This is what we think we can get here." We know Seth is gonna show up, so we don't have to worry about that. But we need to see passing wise if Rodell can if he can get it going early, put up some points early to the point where Ambro has to do more than just hand the ball off to Reasonover because you don't want that game. You want it to be where Ambrose has to make a lot of the plays. He has to throw the ball a lot. You want to put it in his hands because he turns the ball over, and that's what you want. But the only way to get yourself in that predicament is to stop Reasonover or stop the running attack. And I think UNC has to sell out on stopping it. And even if they score, like it's sometimes coaches they abandon the strategy because a team scored the first drive. Like that doesn't mean abandon it. Just say, hey, all right, let's settle down. Let's get back out there. Let's do this now. Now the second drive you might 3-and-out them. The third drive you might 3-and-out. You got to stick to it at least to have time to see like, all right, is it working or is it not working? And then you adjust. But I think they sell out on stopping Reasonover and trying to get some big plays over the top with Sid and RJ and hit Seth on some of those screens. So it'll be interesting to see. But I'm confident if I'm UNC, I'm still confident, even though Reasonover probably coming back. I'm still confident coming into this game because I know we can score points. It's just defense got to step up.
For me, I'm going to go with the key matchup in this one. I honestly believe is Ambro versus the secondary from UNC because this team, I don't think either team is going to stop the other team's offense. But as what we saw from the Steelers last week, they're willing to let Ambro throw the ball. Even when Reasonover was on the team, he was still throwing the ball 30, 40 times. And we were like, this is ridiculous that they're doing this, but they were doing it. So I don't see that changing. And the Crusaders have been known to, when they get turnovers, they get turnovers. Ambro, he's been known to give turnovers. So if he gives them turnovers and then their offense is able to make big plays out of it, you could be looking at an upset. I'm not picking the Crusaders, but you could be looking at an upset if Ambro goes out here and throws 3 more interceptions, which I don't know what the tally is, but I feel like he's going to be up there. He's going to be like 50-50 interceptions, touchdowns. Like he'll have like 20 touchdowns and 20 interceptions because it's getting out of hand here. An interesting aspect of this game, I guess an interesting aspect of this game would be how it relates to the playoffs because the Crusaders, like we said before, they've got to get 3 more wins. And it don't look like it's going to be easy for them now. Like I felt like if they would have had those 2 imports they just lost, they probably would have won their last game and they'd be 4-3 right now, which playing against the Steelers, they're looking like a better situation. While the Steelers, they went 4 games without Reasonover and still ended up winning, 2 of them, I think?
Yeah.
Or 1 of them at least. I don't care. They got 4 wins. They only need 2 more. So for them, I think that they probably will get the win in this game just the way that it's lined up, especially with a fresh Reasonover. Think about it. He ain't been hit for 4 weeks. He probably been working out, but ain't been hit. He gonna come out there fresh. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough against the Crusaders, who they gotta be exhausted by now. What are we, week 9? Week 9 of the season? Yeah, they got to be exhausted. That's 2.5 months, not to mention whatever you've done before preseason. So that'll be an interesting aspect as the playoff implications of this game.
If you're listening to my voice, you're now part of the AFF community. But don't be shy about supporting us. Head over to our website and order some AFF swag. Get a t-shirt for this beautiful summer weather, or a comfy hoodie you can rock all year long. And if you really want the drip, scoop up one of our limited edition snapback caps. Everything you need to represent the AFF community can be found on our website at americanfootballinfinland.com/merch.
Last game of the weekend, Butchers 5-2, holding it down in second place versus the Crocodiles 6-1. Undefeated unofficially, holding it down in first place. What's the storyline here, man?
Woo! This will be interesting. I won't say too interesting, but it'll be interesting to see what we get from both.
Yeah.
I just
Is this game even important? That's the question I really have. Like, is this game important?
Not
because
really.
yeah, it doesn't like this. Just I mean, taking some liberties. This is going to be number one, number two team. Like it is what
Yeah.
it is. They've played each other before, but last time they played, I think Crocodiles beat the crap out of them. It was like 30. Let me look at the score. 31-6. But the Butchers didn't have everybody. Nico Pennanen wasn't there, linebacker. Mickey J wasn't there, running back. I don't know who they had at their cornerback position during that game, but it wasn't really the Butchers. They just didn't
Yeah.
show up for that game. But in this game, it's kind of like what I said about UNC last week against them. Is it worth going all out for this game, knowing that
They
it
have
won't?
to. The
Yeah.
Butchers, I think, will. I think the Butchers will because of the things that you named. They didn't
Mhm.
have, this and that, and maybe they felt like they didn't have all what they could give.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I don't think it'll make a difference. I don't think
Yeah.
it'll make a difference. I think the Crocs are who the Crocs are at this point. Um, the Butchers, I know they're going to come into this game confident, and
They
I think they're
shouldn't.
going to. They're gonna. That's I know, but that's just the mindset of the Butchers. Like, hey, I know we gave up 500 yards.
475 yards. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that would never
like
make me confident.
I wouldn't be confident defensively, but I know like as a team, they probably feel like, well, we're gonna score on offense. So all we got to do is this right here. But at the same time, Powell
Well, they got to
is
prove
is a
that
man.
though,
Yeah,
because
no, you're right.
last time they
You're
played
right.
the Crocodiles, they only had 6 points. So
Yeah,
that's an interesting aspect to this game is that even if it doesn't, I mean, for us, obviously, it doesn't matter if they win or lose it, but for them, they got to prove that they can score against this team, even if they don't
yeah.
win.
I still think it's gonna be I think they might score at the most 21 points this game at the most.
You think so?
I just because I just looking at what the Crocs can do on defense with Eric Irvin back there. They can match up with the Butchers.
And they're not
So
kids. Those are not
and
U19 kids, and they secondary.
yeah, like
Finally.
and they're gonna have a defense. They actually have a defensive front that is going to get pressure. So the zone read, Brandon Gwinner running for his life. You know what I mean? Like this is probably what we're gonna see. That's what I'm expecting anyway. I don't see it changing. I see a lot of Gwinner on the run. So any of the plays that he do make, he's gonna have to make on the run. And a lot of times you got to be super accurate, and your receivers got to move around. And then I also know that gets your quarterback kind of antsy when he can't sit in the pocket and throw the ball. So the Butchers still have to show up and play. Also, the Crocs have to show up and play. But I don't see. It's not. I won't say it's not important because it is for placing for the Butchers if they win this game. But it's more of a measure game
Yeah.
for the Butchers now. Like, hey, we got all our pieces. Let's see how we measure it to them. Like, it's not a. If they lose the game, it doesn't. Oh man, we're gonna lose the season or anything. But
Mm-hmm.
I think for the Crocs, if even if the Crocs so happily lose, I don't think it changes much for them. I think it'll probably make them even more better if they lose. It sounds weird, but it's like when you've been winning, sometimes it's hard to see your faults and hard to
Yeah,
see
what you
where
need
you
to
lazy
fix.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that's where the Crocs is, but maybe the Crocs don't have to go through that. Maybe they'll keep it, rolling. But I don't see much changing from the first game outcome to this one. Not with the Butchers still giving up 500 yards on defense. So, nah,
I
you're not
agree.
gonna have a chance. You're not gonna have a chance against the Crocs. And
Yeah.
and and Whitehead doesn't even. I mean, he doesn't even. If he comes out, he doesn't even have to throw the ball 20, 28 times a game against the Butchers. Like he can literally uh, do what they've been doing. Powell, let's go. And Powell is not even, he's not no 30, 40 carry back anymore because they don't have to.
Yeah, they don't have
See,
to.
20 is going to be enough for him.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
all
For the
you really
most
need.
part. But
You're gonna average
even
8 yards a
Sockler,
carry, so
yeah, even with the receivers, Sockler, and, they're going to do enough to put themselves in position to win the game. But the Butchers, I think this is more of a measuring game for them.
yeah, I think that I agree with that. I think the only difference between this game and that game is probably gonna be the amount of points. I don't think it's gonna be 31-6. I think it could be more of a 35-28, 35-24 situation. Like the Butchers are gonna score 3 or 4 times. but it's going to take them a little bit more. So not going to be as many points to score because it takes a little bit longer. Not to mention the Crocodiles can bleed the clock whenever they want to. They really can.
Mm-hmm.
They have the type of offense. I think the Crocodiles don't really want to get into a shootout anyways with anybody. That's not their style. Like, I mean, I think they can, but I don't think they will. Like, even if they're going to score, they'll methodically move it, have a couple big plays and score, and then you're like, oh, we lost momentum, and then you got to start over every time. Like, they just don't do that shootout thing. Well, I think the Butchers are going to try to do whatever they can offensively, and that's going to lead to a shootout. Key matchup in that one, I would say the Butchers receivers versus the Crocodile secondary. Like that's really going to set the tone for the game. Game is, can they get open against this secondary? Can they make plays that they've been making all year against this team? We've said it before, like they're the probably the best offense in the league, most consistent when it comes to getting plays and getting yards and scoring, but we have not seen them do that against the Crocodiles. So again, that matchup is going to really decide if they can, and it lets us know too. Even if they only do it for like a quarter and a half, where they just own their neck of the Crocodiles, that gives us that speculation of, okay, they could beat them in the right circumstances. But if they never really get it going in the pass game, we already crowning the Crocs. Like that's just how it's going to be. So that would be a good thing. Interesting aspect would be, I don't know. I guess they're playing in Porvoo. That's always interesting. That's similar to what Voss has to do to go to Helsinki from Seinäjoki all the way to Porvoo on a Sunday.
Ooh.
So it's early. It's probably gonna be earlier in the day because it's on a Sunday, but that's still like you still gotta work on Monday. Like if you're in Seinäjoki, you still gotta make it back and get to work on Monday. And Porvoo is not close. Don't expect a lot of Seinäjoki fans to make that trip either because everybody go to work on Monday. So to be interesting. A lot of people going to be watching on Route 2 like me. Now we're going to throw in a little extra segment because I just want to, because I was thinking about it earlier today. Playoffs. We're looking at the teams. Crocs are 6-1, Butchers 5-2, Steelers are 4-3. What's this other team? Crusaders are 3-4, Royals are 3-4, Roosters are 2-4, Wolverines are 0 and whatever. So I'm just doing the math. Everybody beating the Wolverines, right? So we're just gonna guarantee wins. Like for the rest of the season, I'm not picking UNC to win any games because it just don't make sense. But if we go off of, who has to still play the Wolverines and who doesn't, the Wolverines got the Butchers, the Crocs, Crusaders, Steelers, Roosters. So whatever win you have now, you basically can add one win to it, which means the Butchers definitely going to get 6 wins. So they in the playoffs. Crocodiles already have 6 wins. They're in the playoffs. Crusaders, they technically have 3 now, but they'll at least have 4. So they still got to find 2 other games to get into the playoffs. Steelers, they already have 4. So if they play against the Wolverines, they'll have 5. They just got to win 1 more to get a spot. Roosters, if they beat the Wolverines at the end of the season, that'll be 3 for them. While the Royals have already played the Wolverines twice and have 3 total wins. So doing quick math, the Steelers need 1 win outside the Wolverines to get in the playoffs the rest of the season. While the Crusaders need 2, and both the Roosters and the Royals need 3. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is, how do you think it's going to shape out? Like, who gets? Let's just say the Steelers got to get 1. So honestly, I feel like the Steelers are going to make the playoffs. Like it just looks like they're going to get in because they just need to win 1 game outside of the Wolverines. So if they get in for the other spot, whether it be 3rd or 4th, who cares? You got the Crusaders, the Roosters, and the Royals. Who do you think wins the most games?
Out of the Crusaders, Roosters, and Royals?
Yeah, from now on. Say it like this. In the next what? You have 9, is it 9, 10, 11, 12? And there's a couple games. I think everybody's played how many games? Everybody's played like
8.
7. And you get,
Yeah.
and I think you get 12. So in
Mhm.
next 5 games, Crusaders got to win. Crusaders got to win 3. Roosters got to win 4, and Royals have to win 3.
Mhm.
3,
Mhm.
4, 3. And that's really, and then take away the Wolverine game, and you're really saying 2, 3, 2. So they got to beat
Yeah.
a team not called the Wolverines.
Okay, so I'll say this. I'm gonna take the Roosters.
Let's talk about who they're playing. I'm looking at the schedule right now.
Okay,
I'm gonna
yeah,
go
let's
through it.
let's go down there.
So the Roosters got to play against the Royals.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's coming up this week. And then they play the Crusaders.
Mhm.
Then they got the Butchers.
Mhm.
Then the Steelers.
Mhm.
So basically, they all got to play each
Yeah.
other.
Whew. Yeah.
So if the
2 of those 4, I see them winning 2 of those 4 at least.
let's say it like this, the Roosters have to play the Crusaders and the Royals. Who do they beat?
They beating the Royals.
So they beating the Royals.
Yeah.
So you're giving the Roosters 1.
Yeah, they beating the Royals.
Okay. And then let's go Crusaders. Crusaders have, let's see who they got left. They got the Steelers. We'll just say that's a loss. Crusaders have, the Roosters. So you're saying that the Crusaders could beat the Roosters?
Yeah, I think they can beat the Roosters because they just like the Roosters. Just this last time, not even go off of this last time. They didn't have an answer for their imports when they needed to.
Okay.
So
I'm
I'm
with
gonna
that.
say they. Yeah, it's
So
like if it comes down to Kittner versus Fed and RJ, I think the Crusaders win that. If it comes down to that,
What about this matchup in week 11?
Mm.
You got Royals versus Crusaders.
I'm going Crusaders.
You think it's in Vasa?
Going Crusaders.
You going Crusaders. So that gives Crusaders 2.
Yeah,
If they beat both the Roosters and the Royals, that's their 2.
yeah. I think that's an easier chance than the Roosters winning 4.
Yeah, the Roosters would have to beat.
They got to beat everybody.
They have to beat.
Yeah, pretty much.
They have to beat the
everybody.
Crocs, the Steelers, or yeah, they have to win a lot.
That's a harder route. That's a harder route right there.
They got to play. They
harder
gotta
route.
play the Crocs, the Steelers, the Royals. They probably could beat the Royals, and that'd be it. Okay.
I think we're gonna go down to points. If they still doing the point things to get in the playoffs, I think that's what we're going to because these last games are gonna be.
It's gonna be out of the Roosters and Royals if the Crusaders don't beat both of them.
Yeah,
but you're saying that the Crusaders could beat both of those teams.
I'm thinking the Crusaders could beat both of them.
I agree.
For what I'm seeing now, even though because it's like the Crusaders are at the lowest
that they can
talent wise that they can be, and they're still in these games. Like they're still producing on the offensive side of the ball, definitely, but they're somehow still in these games. And I think teams like that, they have the coaches over there that can put them in position, and you don't have to have the best of players and the strongest of players. But when it comes to these crucial times in the season, depth does play a part, but at the same time, these people, they rise to another level. They play different. They get close to the playoffs. They show up for their team. So I see the Crusaders winning 2 games before I see the Roosters winning 4. So
after Crusaders play the Steelers, they have Roosters, then the Royals, then the Wolverines.
Yeah,
they can probably win all 3 of those games. They just got to win 2 out of those 3.
Yeah,
and they don't even have to win 2, huh? They really don't have to win 2 because if they beat the Wolverines, they'll have 5. Oh no, they're at 3 now, huh? Yeah, they do got to win 2.
Yeah.
They do got to win 2. They got to win 2, and then after they play the Wolverines, they got bye week, and then they play Butchers. Yeah, so they got to win during that time because they might not beat the Butchers at the end of the season. Oh, that's interesting. I just wanted to get that out there. I wanted to kind of talk that through. So it looks like we thinking Crusaders and Steelers making playoffs. Royals and Roosters might be on the outside looking in. I don't think the Roosters are going to get in. That's for sure. I mean, it's good. I think they're playing better, but they're not going to get in. They should have won the games they should have won. Oh well. All right, let's
So
go.
you say you don't think they're gonna get in?
No,
Because I had to forget. We're counting Crocs.
Yeah,
Butchers already in.
yeah. Crocs and Butchers are for sure going to be in. So there's only 2 spots left. Steelers have to win basically one game outside of the Wolverines.
Yeah.
So the Steelers can beat anybody else. They in.
Yeah.
And I think they play. Who do they play this week? Actually, they play the Crusaders this week.
The Crusaders. They play Crusaders.
They win this week. All they got to do is beat the Wolverines, and they're in. Yeah. This isn't saying any order, but it looks like it's them and the Crusaders. Ooh, that's good. Just had to throw that out there. It's good to know, though. We'll get on to the picks now. So right now, our pick'em rankings are Spencer in first, 19-5. Coach Q in second, 18-6.
Yes,
Chris Green in third, 17-7. Finland Swami is in fourth, 16-5. Alex Malchow and Coach Mike Mattingly tied for fifth at 15-6. Perfect is in seventh at 16-8. And then there's other people after us. I ain't worried about them. They're at the bottom. They'll be all right. Picking winners, not easy, but we like to give it a shot anyways. So we already discussed pretty much all the games coming up. So now we'll just take a quick couple minutes to go over our picks and why we picked them for this week. First game, Roosters versus the Royals. Who you got?
I'm going Roosters.
Why?
I'm going Roosters. I just think they're at the point where they're playing against a battered Royals team that's been in the gauntlet. I think they have no answer for Kittner. I think that's just going to be too hard of a matchup. Their running game is still good. That's going to be a lot for a beat up Royals team to play against. I think Royals healthy have a better chance, but it's just that it's hard. It's basically impossible for your body to be ready going through a football gauntlet of games like they're going through. I'm not saying the Royals won't show up to play, but it's going to take a lot from their defense side of the ball to keep them in the game, because I just think the Roosters will figure out a way to get Kittner the ball a lot this game. And I think him alone is just like Alpha on the other side, but I think he has a better chance of getting the ball. So I just think the Roosters are in a better position to win this game.
I agree with you 100%. I'm going with the Roosters as well. And pretty much I've lost faith in the Royals as a team that can win. Like, because I don't think they've made the necessary adjustments to be a complete team, and everyone else is kind of trending that way. When I look at them, I feel like they're the only team in the hunt where what they need to fix, they haven't fixed. Everyone else, everyone else has made something. Even the Roosters fixed their defensive situation, what I think. So the Roosters are definitely the pick in this one. Second game, Crusaders versus Steelers. Who you got and why?
I'm going Crusaders versus Steelers. Being the Lee Anthony coming back, I think they'll get a heavy load of Lee Anthony. Heavy load of Lee Anthony. I'm going Steelers in this one. And it's don't get me wrong, it's a hard one. It's a hard one because I want to go UNC. I see what UNC been doing, but they play totally different when Lee Anthony's in the game. It's a different confidence. It's a different it's just different. And now that Slater's gone on the secondary, that now RJ has to play pretty much safety by itself back there. I'm not sure they're gonna make any change. I don't know if they can, but I just think with the depth that UNC has right now, it's a lot, and it's weighing on them. So I think with Lee Anthony over there, it's like he's a motor, and I just don't think they'll be able to stop that. So yeah, I'm going Scorpio.
Well, I'm going Scorpio as well in this one, and I'm going Scorpio, not really because I think Scorpio is like the better team per se. At this point, I really don't know how this game is going to go with Lee Anthony coming back, but I do know this. I know that earlier in the season, I said that UNC won't be the same team from week to week, and by the end of the season, we won't know what we're going to get, and that's where we are now. So I will not be picking UNC for the rest of this season for any games because I don't trust that the roster that we're going to see on game day is anything I can trust in. I think this is the part of the season where they start losing players, people start not coming, they have to like figure stuff out, and it's just too much of a stress on the players that they have. I just think at some point it's just going to be too much, and we've seen it in that last game where they just couldn't finish because it's just too much. And now the whole season is weighing on some of these guys. I think having Yeldell helps them because he's a little bit fresher, but guys like Seth Rowland, RJ Long, Cedric Johnson, said was playing defense in the last game as well. Dante Edwards, those guys who've been there the whole season, they're not gonna be able to finish strong. Like it's just not possible. It's not physically possible. So last game we got Butchers versus Crocs. Who you got?
I'm going Karaoke Crocodiles, even though I know the Butchers told me not to pick against them. But I'm going with consistency. I'm going with a team that didn't give up 475 yards last week. It's not a knock on the Butchers. I just cannot pick y'all against the Crocs. I just can't do it because I think the Crocs are a better team. I think they literally are a better team all around, defense, offense, everything. I think they're a better team than the Butchers. I do think the Butchers are good. I just don't think they're better than the Crocs. So that's exactly why I'm going with the Crocs, because I think they're just a better team.
I'm going to say in this one, I'm also going to go with the Crocs. And I want to say the reason I'm going with the Crocs is earlier in the season, I've picked against the Crocs a few times. Because there was times in the season where I wasn't convinced that they were as good as they are. And even the last time, I think I picked UNC over the Crocs. And that was based on the fact that was also before their imports left. And it was because I thought that UNC was the only team with enough talent to beat them. And I do not see anyone else with that amount of talent to beat them, including the team they're going to be playing this weekend. No offense to the Butchers. I do think they're the second best team at this point, and I think that'll be good for them. And it might even get them to the Maple Bowl this year, which would be great. But it would be disrespectful to say that anybody is better than the Crocs since no one has proven that on the field. And only a few teams have come close. And close is not the same thing as doing it. And I just don't think that they're going to lose this game against the Butchers. Because even though they haven't lost any games on the field, there's still a chip on the shoulder of those guys. Like you can see it. Like they still feel like they are being underestimated because they're not getting picked to win, even though they're winning. So I guess we'll overestimate and say, hey, we expect you to win this game. Hopefully they don't let us down. Because you never know out here in Finland, teams will let you down for some things.
American football in Finland.